What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with some Destiny 2 news and updates. Also a couple of Bungie updates here, things related to the community, Bungie's upcoming projects, and yes, we'll keep things light on that front. There's also a lot of conversation about Frontiers, if Bungie have any plans to speak about that soon, but otherwise there's additional clarification about Heresy content, another Heresy update which will be dropping a bit later on in April. That one might be important for anyone who's a bit of a completionist looking to essentially wrap up everything in Heresy, but there are additional changes at Bungie worth mentioning and a few other things in the video, so if you guys enjoy this one, a rating below would really help us on the channel, but otherwise let's get into it. In the video today, safe to say, a few lighter sort of news updates overall, but a few ones related to Heresy which are important. Bungie Help have said, the fix to launch into all areas of the Nether, including the Founts and Hull Breach, has been successfully deployed, so basically now when we head into the Nether, we could potentially spawn in Hull Breach or the Founts, as well as any of the other zones. That definitely makes hunting for specific things in certain areas much easier because we don't have to run halfway through the activity only to find that we can't get to the Founts, for instance. So in that sense, it is a big change. And as players have pointed out, it's certainly worth using the Explore mode if you're looking for secrets in particular, especially given that some of the secrets appear to spawn exclusively or more consistently in Explore mode. This is a weird sort of design element of the Nether, as the tooltip does indicate that Explore mode features secrets, but Bungie have never specifically said that any secrets are exclusive to Explore mode, so it's a bit of a weird one, but basically, Explore mode is the one you want if you're looking for the rune in the Founts, for example. So that's the first thing to keep in mind, and as for whether Bungie may potentially give further updates to the Nether in the future, there is one coming down the road, but players have asked why can't we choose which spawn zone we go into, or couldn't you just open up the Nether entirely, essentially removing the doors and the requirement to play through each bubble individually? And the D2 team have clarified, yes, the starting zone is still random, and while we'd love to give options on a specific landing zone, it's a bit more work than we can chew on right now. We're happy to have identified the initial issue preventing the Founts and Hull Breach from being able to appear first, and we hope that this helps players on specific steps of various quests, or their hunts for secrets in the Dreadnought. DMG added some clarification to this. I wish we could give options to launch specific bubbles, but that would take a bit more time and bandwidth than we have right now. So no, we shouldn't expect any big updates to the Nether and the way that it generally works in terms of spawn zones and exploration. And while that is a little bit frustrating, I have to say, fair enough, I guess, really. Bungie obviously have a lot on their plate with regards to Destiny, Frontiers, and whatever's happening next. Whenever that's happening, of course. So if the focus has to be on that, at this point, that is kind of understandable. But back to Heresy and further updates regarding some of the content, the D2 team said regarding the Heresy Heretic title, we're aware that some Dreadnought collectibles are not currently available, and we're currently targeting April 22nd to address this. So a lot of us assumed that there were additional secrets that would just unlock in the coming weeks. According to the Heretic Triumph, there are a total of 50 collectibles on the Dreadnought. The current maximum is 44. But from that confirmation right there, a bug is actually the reason that they are not showing up in the game at the moment. So April 22nd is just under 2 weeks away from now, and at that point they will become available. One thing I would really love for Bungie to be able to do here is somehow tip us off as to what secrets they're actually referencing, because it's a funny one. If you look at the frustration there has been around getting certain secrets for the Barodiad catalyst, I could see that whole thing starting again when Bungie actually implement this fix, because of course, many of us have played the hell out of the Nether, and for me personally, I haven't minded it because I quite enjoy the activity, but I don't think it would go down too well for players to essentially have to do all of that again after April 22nd in order to just find those few final secrets. But at least Bungie have kind of clarified that, and we now know that the Nether will get at least one more update to address that issue on the 22nd of April. Of course though, this week we've had the conclusion of the main Heresy story quest. I don't necessarily think this is the actual finale of Heresy, because Bungie had said that this will tie into Frontiers heavily. And while I think the story this week was actually pretty interesting, there were some really cool mission pieces and dialogue. I won't go into any spoilers because I'm sure some folks still are waiting to complete that, but it didn't really land us on an actual conclusion, which we've kind of seen before many times with seasons, because often there is sort of an epilogue phase. But given that the bulk of it is wrapped up right now, the conversation again turns to Frontiers. So, as Paul Tassi said, the idea that Frontiers will be here in 3 months with 0 reveals so far doesn't seem to add up. He points out as well, you could pre-order the final shape in May of 2023 for its June 2024 launch. Of course, that was the delayed launch, so it was supposed to come in February, which was a smaller window, but nonetheless, still a bigger window than what we have for Frontiers. and Witch Queen was August 2021 pre-order for a launch in February 2022. So at this point, it would be a very tight window, of course, if Frontiers is going to drop in July or something, which is the only indication that the game has actually given us from the season end date. And I totally agree it would be a bit weird. I guess the thing is with Frontiers, this is a new type of expansion. It is smaller, and it's possible that Bungie want to do a smaller marketing build-up, and in itself, that's absolutely fine. I guess one of the big issues isn't necessarily that Frontiers hasn't been fully revealed, but more frustration is probably being caused by the fact that Bungie haven't said anything about it for many months. Given as well that Bungie are focusing on Marathon at the moment and their announcement later this week, for Destiny players who aren't necessarily that interested in Marathon, that just adds fuel to the fire because it's creating a sense that Destiny is much less of a priority right now. Obviously, to some small extent, that is true. It doesn't necessarily mean that it isn't a priority for Bungie either. I'm just not really sure what their strategy is here. And while I've always said if something needs to be delayed to make it good, that isn't an issue, I think it would, however, be unfortunate if Bungie now speak about a delay when it's so close to the anticipated launch. Not just the anticipated launch, the one that Bungie very loosely indicated on their timeline. So yeah, it's a weird one, and on top of the fact that we want to actually play Destiny, there's another component where people have plans in their life, presumably, or some people do at least. And often people spend a lot of time in the summer doing other things, whether it's going on vacation, spending time with their families, whatever it may be. As a content creator, currently, not complaining because it's my job, obviously, but I currently have the whole of 2025 on hold because I feel like I can't make any plans, because if I do that, Bungie will announce something which conflicts with those plans. It's kind of frustrating. So that's my angle, but I know there are plenty of other players and people in the community who essentially feel a very similar way for one reason or another. So hopefully Bungie have something to say soon. Moving away from all of this though, DMG offered a personal update regarding his position at Bungie and said, in the coming weeks I'll be transitioning to a different position within the studio. I'll still be dedicated to Destiny 2, but with a few different focuses and responsibilities under the title of Principal Communications Manager. So sounds like a promotion here. Congrats DMG. He goes on to say, while my focus is shifting fully to communication strategy within Destiny 2's franchise marketing team, I'll still be a small piece in the big puzzle of ensuring your voices are heard within the studio. Overall, we're looking to continue transparent communications, honest exchanges with humility, and even fuel future hype through the position and more within the publishing organization here at Bungie. With all of that said, you'll be seeing some community team listings on our careers portal soon, and we'll be looking for a backfill to take the previous role. Plus, we're looking to fill a few other positions between community and technical community manager seats, so keep an eye out and feel free to ask questions. Obviously, that indicates further sort of structural changes within the teams that work on Destiny, especially in the communication side and the community side. But obviously, given that DMG is a well-known real human at Bungie that interacts with the community a lot, obviously it's worth mentioning because we could see some of those interactions change. I'm sure there'll be speculation as well as to whether this will have an impact on Destiny somehow, and obviously it will, but as to precisely what that means, speculation is pretty much all we have at the moment, so we'll just have to see. A very final mention right here. I don't want to go on about Marathon too much because it seems to trigger a lot of my audience when I do. I'd like to say my only goal has been to provide small updates given that I'm not making dedicated Marathon videos. I don't want to shove it down anyone's throat, but this one actually coming from DMG as well. I should mention first though, Bungie did send me a Marathon creator package, which is pretty cool. It has a t-shirt, a cap, a silkworm, which I always thought looked more like caterpillars in the original trailer, and some other neat items. So thank you, Bungie, for sending that out. But DMG added, Saturday is going to be a fun day. That's when they're revealing more about Marathon, by the way. And it's reminiscent of a day that happened long ago, a day before there were ghosts, guardians, worm gods, or witnesses, when folks were getting their eyes on Destiny gameplay for the first time, and some were seeing the Bungie logo for the first time. Our community grew in so many ways that day, and over the last decade, and it's been an absolute blast. He went on to say the community have continuously inspired and supported us, and this community, the Bungie community, is about to grow even more. The most exciting thought on my mind, Destiny will continue to grow and evolve alongside Marathon. It doesn't matter what game you're here for or what platform you're playing on. We're so excited to have you here or to see you soon. And he says one of his favorite Bungie values is that we create worlds that inspire friendship. For all who've been here since the start, or even just recently, join us in welcoming all of the folks with open arms. We've already seen a few new friendships and bonds formed over the last week during the Marathon ARG, and those moments have fueled our excitement and adrenaline even more for what's to come. So a message of positivity right there, which I totally get, and I understand Bungie's desire to do other things alongside Destiny. And of course, that's our hope ultimately, right, is that Bungie's commitment to Destiny remains steadfast. And I've personally seen a lot of negativity around Marathon recently, from Destiny players in particular. In a perfect world, I'd actually say that that is somewhat unreasonable. But I think one of the big issues is that Destiny players have been left hanging on for quite a long time regarding Frontiers in particular. And essentially, if Destiny had its ducks in a row, right, if Destiny had communicated a specific plan to the player base and was able to essentially prove that it's still an important and viable Bungie project, then the response from Destiny players would probably be quite different right now. I think the lack of communication about Frontiers is probably creating an even more sour taste for some Destiny players when Bungie spend time speaking about Marathon, right? So it's a really weird situation at the minute. But yeah, believe me, Destiny is the game I'm most interested in. It's the one I want to know about. And I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to have that conversation and share some useful and good updates from Bungie regarding Destiny very soon. Obviously, that time isn't just yet, so we'll see how it pans out, but regardless, Bungie will have to start speaking about Ride of the Nine and presumably Frontiers in the very, very near future. All I can do for now is ensure you that I will keep you up to date when that happens. So there we go, guys. If you enjoyed the video today, a rating below very much helps us on the channel. Be sure as well to get subscribed and I'll keep you posted with more content, but otherwise, cheers for watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.